Hi, this is Dan here. I hope you're doing really well. In this lesson, I'm going to show you something that's really, really important. You've probably heard it before. People saying that the best skill that you can have a musician is to have a good ear, and I will tend to agree with that. So this lesson is going to show you everything you need to know. That was come together and then a little bit of sort of random nonsense over the top of it. Now, every bass line that you care to mention comes from a scale, comes from a key. So the first thing that you must do is to know what that means. A key is just a scale. And lots and lots and lots of music comes from the major scale and its related minor. I'll just explain that very quickly. But before I do, once I figure out the key of something, and I know the scale patterns, they go hand in hand, I can improvise around that. That's just one of the many benefits of working on your ear. But very basically, you have a major scale, so C major. If you find the sixth note of any major scale, which I can do just by going 6 up, or I can go 3 frets down actually. I play the same notes from the key. You need to watch my circle of fourths and fifths video to find notes in every key, but we'll stick to C major. We have the relative minor of that key. Scales form the building blocks of music. So what I want you to do is I want you to learn the major scale, know that it has a related minor, and be able to hum or sing those away from your bass. That's absolutely incredibly important, okay? You know how to sing that up and then down. So you should know the names of the notes as well. The circle of fourths and fifths will help you with that. But you should also know the patterns and the sound. All of these things are going to help you. Next is that a tiny bit of theory is going to help you. So what I want you to do is to know what a scale is. There's a major scale. Know that a triad is the first, third, and fifth. Know that if you play those together, you get a chord. Bass players don't tend to do that, but if you play them separately, you get an arpeggio. You have to know those. Later on in the lesson, I'm going to show you some examples where we're going to hear these things in action, but a C major triad to its relative minor, A minor triad, sounds a bit reggae-ish if you play in that style. Next thing to do, I want you to think of the simplest, most childish melody you can think of. So TV, theme tunes, or nursery rhymes. No, nothing difficult yet. You need to start off at a manageable level, and you need to sort of build confidence, gain the connections in your own mind between what I'm talking about, scales and melodies. So I'm going to pick Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star. I'm going to start D flat, why not? Not all melodies and songs start off on the root note, but in this case it does. So. See how I'm just literally playing that pattern, the major pattern, which I'm really urging you to learn. Not every melody you do will stick to that very convenient 1-octave pattern, which is why you learn the scale descending as well as ascending. But pick a really, really simple melody and try to learn it without any sort of external help, just something that's in your head. I'll do another example for you. I really love John Williams, the film composer, and he's written a load of really memorable theme tunes that use very, very simple notes. So I'll stick in that same key of D flat. I'm going to start on that note. Even though I think it's that, isn't it? He loves using fifths. If you're younger than I am, you won't know of the old Superman films from the 70s, but that melody, it's brilliantly simple. It's crazy. It goes from the fifth to the root, then octave, fifth, root. It just couldn't be simpler. Now, if you do this kind of thing, really, really simple melodies, and you're linking a melody to sort of a pattern and an interval and the fact that it scales, this is absolutely going to help your ear no end. So just write down a load of theme tunes, find them, and away from YouTube, away from anything else, preferably something that's in your head. If you do need to play it and then listen back to it, then fine, do that. Natural extension of that is then to do the same with bass lines, to link scales to bass lines. So I'm going to do a few examples for you here. I mentioned the major scale and the natural minor, so let's do that first. Let's do My Girl. Again, I'm trying to think of things here that are really, really simple. Hopefully you know it. If you don't, go out, search it, listen for it. But I'm going to do that thing of, well, listen to this is what I would do. I can't, unfortunately, show you examples on YouTube because you get copyright strikes if you have the songs going in the background. But the beginning of My Girl, the guitar line. I mean, immediately, that's a major pentatonic. It's a C major, that's the key we're in. It's another 5 to the root, really simple. Roots and fifths happen a lot in bass line. We're just going up the notes of the major scale, really, really, really simple. Another one. Let's go to natural minor. You've probably heard this before. Now, if you've done your homework and you've learnt the pattern, you've hummed the scale in your head, when you hear this, you know it's the first 3 notes of the minor scale. And if you learn them in different registers as well, you've got pretty much the collection of notes that will be in the song. But life isn't always that simple, is it? Absolutely, the major and the natural minor scale are going to cover a lot of styles of music, but you're going to come up against songs where it doesn't do that. So, for example, you can learn that quite easily and absolutely be very happy and not know that it's what it is, what's going on. That's absolutely no problem. But what I'm talking about here is gaining a very deep level, way below the surface level knowledge. This will really help you. That's a Dorian mode, the second mode of the major scale. And when you explore it and improvise with it, you'll find it in different songs and you'll connect it with a vibe. If you like funk music and funk rock, you hear the Dorian mode all the time. So once you know that, once you learn the patterns, once you figure out the intervals with it, you can improvise, you can hear it much quicker than you can if you don't know a Dorian mode. I touched on the word intervals. You must know the intervals within every scale. So when going back to, that's a fifth, and roots to octaves, these are all intervals. So you must know your major third, which is why you hum the notes as you go. An arpeggio, that's a root, major third, fifth, octave. Reorganize them, you get the American national anthem. And that's why you practice all these different tunes and you're connecting famous songs to notes within scales. That's how you do this. That's a minor pentatonic scale. It goes hand in hand with anything minor. And you hear that a lot, the first 3 notes. Smoke on the Water. If you put a flat 5, there's an interval again. Into a minor pentatonic, you get a blues scale. It's all over classic rock riffs. So you know your Dorian, you know your blues scale. We're starting to cover more music here. Moving on to another mode that's very, very important, the Mixolydian mode. That's all your... This bass line isn't in this key, but... Right, perfect example of what I'm going on about here. Watch this. What's that? That's a major arpeggio. So when I hear Tony Levin playing that, all I have to do is locate the first note to find what key we're in. I forget what it is. I think it's E flat, maybe E. It's definitely not A, but let's just say you heard this. Yeah, we're in the key of A. I'll get to exactly what in a second. Now the position of that and the sound of it. It's another Chili Peppers bass line. Anything that's on the same fret as the root note, but 2 strings down, is a flat 7, minor 7th. So we've got a major arpeggio with that, and that's your Mixolydian, okay? You hear it loads and loads. Jacko used it a lot because he was incredibly influenced by soul and old school R&B players like Jerry Jamot and Tommy Cogbill. And the Mixolydian mode is just littered. It comes in that music. It comes from blues. So you've got your Dorian, you've got your Mixolydian. You need to learn those. We're going up in levels of complexity here, so make sure that you know your major, your natural minor, of course. But plus the fact that everything that I'm showing you in this relatively short lesson is going to take you potentially a few weeks to practice that, but that's fine because you've got that time. I really would recommend that's how you approach practicing the bass. You learn from the foundational sort of point of view. And in this video, I don't know if you've noticed, but we started off easy. We started off with the major scale, the natural minor scale, and nursery rhymes. And if you're very new to this, stay there for a while, okay, until you're a little bit more confident, and then you want to go to the Dorian stuff and the Mixolydian. But I just want to, I'm going to return to our friend John Williams here, and I'm going to do a little bit of practice in real time, mistakes and all, because the Darth Vader theme tune. Now, this is an example of how I might do that thing I was showing you before, and I'm also going to show you why you need to know more scales than just the ones I've talked about. I need to figure this out, so I'll do this in real time. Okay, I'm going to do D minor, that's D natural minor, and I want to do this. It sounds dark, and it's Darth Vader's theme tune, it's not going to be major scale, so I've picked the natural minor scale. Okay, so far so good, I got it right. Okay, all that's right as well. Those are the first 6 notes of the natural minor scale. Everything fits so far. Right, that note there. It isn't in your natural minor scale, okay? So this is something I struggled with a bit when I was much younger learning, is that certain melodies and bass line didn't fit to the things I knew. A natural minor scale is exactly the same as a harmonic minor scale. If you put the 7th note up a fret, you get a harmonic minor scale, which is what the Darth Vader theme tune is written in. Okay, so if you also learn your modes, a mode is basically a scale within a scale. So if I play those notes of D harmonic minor, but I actually start on the 5th note, I'm going to do the up here. I get this. You get like a flamenco type sound, or some sort of metal sort of sound. So if you're into that kind of music, you need to explore these different avenues. So see what I'm doing here with levels of complexity? You basically have your major scale and its relative minor. Then you've got this harmonic minor, and you've got a melodic minor, which I'm not going to get into today. But you have those 3 main tonalities and all the modes within them. If you're just beginning, don't worry about that too much, what I just said. But there lies pretty much all of the music you're ever going to want to learn within those sentences I just said. Okay, so there's a lot to break down there, but what I would do right away for this lesson, perhaps revisit the video. I know I often go quite heavy into these videos. Some people don't like that. They like me to just do one thing, and I do some videos that are like that and other videos that have got lots in them. Just rewind it or watch it again, okay? Nothing. I know we're in this YouTube age where it's move on to the next thing, but what I'm telling you here is sort of like old school classic knowledge, if you like. I promise you all this stuff that I'm telling you. There are no shortcuts, hacks, anything like that, secrets, you know that. But this is the good stuff. So I want you to watch this video again and go through all the points that I've told you. Start simple with the major scale, nursery rhymes, and then build up to the other things. Major, natural minor, you've got your Dorian, your Mixolydian, and then you've got your other harmonic minors if you want to go a bit further. Do a little bit of this every day. You'll go from not being able to work out any bass lines to having a really, really good ear where you can hear something and you can play it, or you can hear another musician play something and know what they're doing. That's the ultimate goal. The only way you're going to do this is by dedicating yourself to this. Perhaps 5-10 minutes of this every day. The good news is that it gets easier the more you do it, and it starts to feel like a bit of a superpower the more you do it. It's brilliant. So I hope you got something from that video. If you did, please like, share, subscribe, and if you have any questions, let me know. Other than that, see you on the next video. Thanks.